Thanks, listeners, for joining us for our regular update from local law enforcement on today's Elko Live here on KELK. We're talking with our Elko County Sheriff, Aitor Narvaiza, alongside our City Police Chief, Tyler Trouten, today, and a lot of things to get updated on, so we'll just get right to it. First of all, by welcoming both of you, gentlemen, thank you for being on the program, as always.
Well, thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you. We're going to start with you today, Sheriff, because you may have some news, or at least I know you have some late developments on a missing man from Elko County. What can you tell us about the search for Gordon Russell?
Well, Mr. Russell's vehicle was located day before yesterday on Highway 50 on the Eureka-Lander County border on the side of the road. Lander County was out there yesterday, and they had personnel on the ground and used drones to fly it. He was not located this time. No Lieutenant Fisher's working on it as we speak. They're talking about taking more resources over. They're trying to get a helicopter up, but the helicopter service is no longer in Elko, so they're trying to get some more air resources. So as of right now, the vehicle's been located. Mr. Russell's still outstanding, and we'll just keep. We'll help Lander County with whatever resources we have available and see if we can locate Mr. Russell.
All right. So technically he is in, his vehicle is in Lander County. Now, Mr. Russell was last seen, or I guess there was contact with him by his family on July 6th. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. He's been supposedly, we're chasing down some rumors, some leads. Supposedly he was in the Albertsons parking lot on the following day with some other friends, and we're trying to get some surveillance video to confirm that it is him. Right now everybody's speculating bad things, but at this time we don't have anything that's suspicious. So we'll just keep working our side of it and the video surveillance and see what we could obtain, and we'll keep going from there.
All right. He's 57 years old, 5'10", 285, with hazel eyes, brown hair. Again, last seen on or had contact on July 6th, and was obviously this vehicle was found, the 2010 Honda Odyssey with Nevada license plate. So the vehicle is located in Lander County. And I guess the last question, anything suspicious about this at this point? The vehicle's 180 miles away.
Yeah, it's nothing suspicious this time. We don't know if the vehicle ran out of gas or possibly broke down. Lieutenant Fisher was talking to the sheriff's office in Lander County, but hooking it up for evidence, and we'll look at it. We don't know if it's broke down or out of fuel, but we don't know if he walked out in the desert or somebody came by, picked him up, gave him a ride elsewhere. We have no idea. So we will keep working leads and get with Lander County. And there's got to be some ranchers up there that could probably have seen him out there walking around, or that's one. So we're just chasing down leads now.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff. Again, out of respect for the investigation and certainly his family and friends, co-workers, there are lots of questions we could ask, but it would just be speculation. So we just want to leave it there, right?
Yeah, at this time it's pure speculation until we get something that says it's suspicious. We're just going to just keep working it. And then, we have detectives working on it. They've been working on it. A lot of, when this stuff happens, we get numerous calls, and some are just trying to chase things. They're just rumors, and so that's what we're at. We got to take the rumors aside and get everything that's positive and work it.
All right. So again, last contact July 6th, not reported missing until July 11th. That's also important, I think, for the community to know.
That's correct. People think that when like Ty will tell you, Chief, people think that when people go missing, they have to wait X amount of time, and it's not. If a person is come up missing,
oh sure, yes.
The person comes up missing, we can take those individuals and enter them in the NCIC and start looking around. But when people go gone a week or two and then they get reported missing, you could drive across the U.S. in a week, and it's tough to pick up vehicles and leads that way. So if you do believe a person is missing, please contact law enforcement, and we'll try to get on it as quick as we can.
And just putting in a note too, circulating on social media is not the best first thing to do, because that simply provides information to someone who, may be harboring someone. There could be victims and suspects involved. It's always best to go to local law enforcement first.
Right, social media in this case, there's a lot of speculations. In the past, family members get all wound up because they say, well, this has happened on social media, and it's, instead of coming to us, everybody's talking about it. Bunch of rumors on social media. So it's just better to just go right to the source, us, and we can get rid of the social media stuff and
put out an official release.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Sheriff. Again, just putting that out there. Talking with our Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza. So, Chief Trouten, we have any number of things we can get updated with you, and some of this stuff will intersect, as we'll find out in the program. One thing that when we reached out in advance of the program, you said you'd research maybe some traffic statistics and some crime for us to let us know where we're going. I know the Sheriff's got some statistics too.
Yeah, so we've talked about, there's been several, I would say, notable accidents and so forth in the last several months. And what that tends to do, I think, which is shown by the numbers, is it tends to make people think that, there's a lot more traffic accidents, things are really different. Just pulling the numbers, and these were accurate as of Tuesday this week, for the whole, from January 1 till July, 23rd, 221 traffic accidents in the city of Elko this year. Same period last year, 233. So actually a few less, not significantly less or anything. But again, just some notable ones. We've had some vehicle versus pedestrians, vehicles versus bicycles, motorcycles, and of course always vehicle versus vehicle. But I will say, and again, I would tend to agree that I think our drivers are getting worse. We're doing our utmost. Our citations are up, and we know that when citations go up, accidents go down. But man, it just seems like we've got a lot of folks who are in a hurry to get wherever they're going. We're having some talks trying to get with NDOT to maybe decrease the speed on Mountain City Highway starting up there by the Pack. 35 I don't think is unreasonable, but if you tell people 35, they want to do 45, 50. So maybe we make it 25. It's disheartening for us because, again, these things, I would say the vast majority of all these crashes are completely avoidable. So,
thank you, Chief. No, I think that's really significant. I think the community will appreciate knowing you're having these conversations with NDOT, because it does seem like Mountain City Highway is really a speed alley at this point.
Well, we've had complaints come in, and again, people get wound up. Sometimes their memories aren't perfect. We understand that, but reports of we've had 3 crashes at this intersection. There haven't been 3 crashes at that intersection. There's been 1. Now, if you go back another 6 months, yep, indeed there was. So, I'm not faulting the people and stuff, but I understand them being upset. But, again, the same people often that are, up in arms about it, they're no better at driving than everybody else. It's just the time and place, or what law they think that, it's okay to bend a little bit.
What the circumstances. Well, Chief, thank you. That's why you keep the records that you do, and we appreciate that, because that's why we call, this up on the program, so people can find out, well, this is actually the fact, that you researched that. So thank you. We appreciate the information. We're going to intersect with crime here, but we'll go over to Sheriff Narvaiza, because Sheriff, you made a presentation to county commissioners last week, which I think was kind of shocking in a lot of ways with the numbers. Now,
we're talking homicides, natural causes, everything. So, and these numbers were last week. So we had 86 deaths total this year.
86 deaths.
Total this year. And those numbers have probably gone up since last week. Couple natural causes, and so we're probably closer to 90. Okay, that was last week. We had 10 suicides. We had 10 overdoses. We still have a bunch of them still pending at the medical examiner's office.
So I think you said 19. Yeah.
Yeah, 19 unattended. So we still have some more pending. The city and county have had 3 homicides this year already, so it's those are numbers, but we keep going the way we're going with these deaths. We'll probably be about close to 200, which last year we ran 178 or so. So we're right on track, about the same. The first of the year we got really hammered with deaths. It was the first month alone we had like 26, 27. So it's starting to slow down a little bit. But those numbers will be going up quite a bit this year again. So we should be right on track about the same time last year.
So if you do subtract the natural deaths, which again you expect with a certain size population, but what is causing concern, I guess, might be the overdose or the suicide.
The suicides, we're on track like we were last year. The first year on the overdoses, we had like 20. It's been a few years ago, like 24 or so. And then last year we dropped down to 10, so we did pretty good. And this year those numbers, they're right back up to. So we're probably going to hit a little bit higher on the overdoses, and most of those come back from medical examiner's office. Fentanyl and methamphetamine based has been the cause of death.
So that'll explain, too, some of the activity that we've seen, meaning, Chief, between the Sheriff's Office and the City Police. Both agencies participate in the Narcotics Task Force. Is that right?
Both agencies, as well as the state, participating in that task force. We've got our crime suppression teams out, the patrol folks. We're all trying to work on this. We've, beat this dead horse down to, powder, I think, about, drugs are a significant problem and continue to be. And we're not unique in any way. There's overdoses everywhere, fentanyl, opioid overdoses. It's a huge, huge issue for this country. Occasionally there's batches of bad drugs that come through. I have a friend back in Illinois, gets called to an apartment complex for a subject overdosing. Before he can even get up to that specific apartment, two more calls come out for that same complex, different apartments for overdoses. We see that now and again. We rarely see that extreme here, where you have multiple overdoses, one specific location. But we can tell when sometimes there's some
bad batch.
Yeah, bad batch.
I hate to say a bad batch of drugs; they're all bad, but worse than the others come through, and people tend to overdose more, and we get more calls. On the community side, I think there's a lot of positive things. The Narcan is readily available. A lot of the folks have it, the family members, friends, different things like that, law enforcement. You talk about there's been, if I'm understood correctly, 10 overdose deaths so far this year. There's probably been 60 saves of people who are overdosing and given Narcan. When Narcan we first started issuing it out, we were actually, looking at life-saving awards for administration of it. If somebody goes and you give them CPR, they fall over with a heart attack, you do CPR, that would be a life-saving award. We've had to change the parameters on such awards because we'd be giving them out by the dozens. So now, unless your life is imperiled, meaning you run into the burning building or something like that to save a life, there's no life-saving awards for them. They just would have been meaningless because we are giving Narcan almost daily to these folks to bring them back. And that's just us. As I said, the family members, the friends, their cohorts, they all have Narcan as well. So where we may save them one time, other people may have done it 4 or 5 times with that individual.
Wow. That's just, those are incredible numbers. Again, the lethality of the already potent drugs, and then the uncertainty of what you might be ingesting, and especially when it seems like it comes to our attention when we hear about young people, becoming victims of this as well. And then back to our crime statistics too, I wanted to make sure that between the sheriff and the chief, you were telling the county, Aitor, that of the 12,434 calls year to date, that's up about 636, and we are on track maybe for some record-breaking year for calls.
We're probably going to be up a couple more 100 calls for this year. We're probably looking at, talking to Lieutenant Fisher the other day, we're probably talking over 25,000 calls for service, just the county. And that's just dispatch calls. So, the city, county, we're all busy, and sometimes it takes a while to get to these calls because they come on now and they're backed up on calls already, and they just go from call to call, and and then you got to take the time for the reports, and you got to do those reports. Got to get done at a certain time. So everybody's the numbers are going up in calls for service.
And we also heard about traffic accidents too. One that sounded really horrific out in Spring Creek. There was a 21-year-old who launched his vehicle across 5 lanes of traffic going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, there was a young man out there. He was traveling towards Palace Parkway, coming off the backside of Spring Creek Parkway in the 700 block, and speed definitely was a factor. And the vehicle crossed airborne on the other side on Palace Parkway, hit the mailboxes and some other poles, and was killed immediately on scene.
Was that
when
recently?
we arrived, there was another female.
Oh boy!
Another female that was just out there walking around. So he was pronounced deceased on scene. She was taken to the hospital. So that would have been almost a month ago now. So I believe it was the 26th of last month or so.
June, okay.
Yeah, so we're headed a month now.
So in that case, did you determine was there substance abuse? Was he under the influence, or
No, we did the toxology. We always do. We're just waiting on.
Okay.
We're waiting for the medical examiner's office because I know we did the blood draw, and so we're just waiting on that and see if alcohol or drugs were a factor. But at this time, I can't tell you yes or no.
Okay, and we don't know obviously if there was a mechanical failure or something could have happened.
Something happened. When you're going that fast and 700 block of Spring Creek Parkway and you get airborne and you cross all the lanes of traffic, speed's definitely a factor. So
yeah, that's kind of frightening. I mean, it is frightening. Yeah.
Highway Patrol was out there. We did the actual accident. They did the reconstruction. They're really good at it, so they're helping us with that. And just waiting on that toxology report and go from there.
All right. Well, we didn't report on that, but Spring Creek area residents are very well aware because it wiped out all their mailboxes too.
Oh yeah,
so
it wiped out everything. They still haven't got those mailboxes up.
Right. So
people been calling me complaining about it, but I don't have nothing to do with the mailboxes. That's
we got to pick up
the
your
U.S.
mail.
Postal Service, and I have nothing to do with that, or neither does Ty. But
so then there was another report about an attack with an axe. Sheriff, that one just sounded horrific. You said you said he buried the axe in the person's head.
This is the conversation Ty and I had. This is people that we dealt with 25, 30
habitual
years.
offenders.
Since the beginning of our careers.
Wow.
These are the same people that we dealt with. There was an altercation, and there was an altercation. The vehicle pulls up, and the suspect gets out and hit him upside the head with the axe, buried it in his neck, and missed the carotid, and he's okay. I mean, they stapled him up.
Wow.
But the suspect was in jail that night, and but like Ty was saying, these are people that we've dealt with when we were kids on patrol, and now they're still in the game.
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Laura.
Oh, no, you're not interrupting.
Just so the public understands, too, these are not random attacks on, just somebody driving or going about their business. These are people who are committing crimes of their own and associated with one another, and they get into squabbles. And, of course, they have no limits on anything. So, as you can see in this case, that applies to attempted murder as well.
Right. So that's not, again, it wasn't something that made the radar that we reported in the local media because it was these habitual offenders.
You talk like Chief was saying, the homicide at the Shutters Motel. Chief Trout and I dealt with that guy when he was growing up too, 25 years ago.
The suspect.
The axe incident in Spring Creek, we're going up. 5 pounds of narcotics that Ty's guys got. We dealt with that guy 25 years ago. So the names don't change. It's just a big circle, and all 3 of them are in custody right now as we speak.
Well, including, I'm not sure if he's still in custody, but the victim of the axe attack was arrested, 5-6 days later on felony charges of his own.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, again, and I know the sheriff's talked about, calls come up and they go down and stuff. You can almost forecast these rises in crime by keeping track of who's getting released from prison, who's coming out early on parole or probation or different things like that, because they come back out and they'll come out, we'll have a rash of crime and stuff. The DAs will do their job. They'll be sentenced to prison. Crime will kind of diminish for a while. Then they come back up and it just kind of ebbs and flows that way. But again, some of these folks, I don't know how many countless times they have been arrested and sent to prison. And unsurprisingly, this is who they are. They are criminals. If you were to say, Lori, what do you do for life? Well, you're on the radio, right? The sheriff, he's in law enforcement. These folks, they're criminals. This is their lifestyle. This is who they are. And I don't have much hope that they'll ever change.
Well, and I guess as far as the public is concerned in society, so what can we do? Because these are habitual offenders, as you're describing, the same people often committing multiple crimes or related offenses, often to each other, as we said, running in similar circles, if that's... so what can the community, what can the public do to impact change?
Well, not to be the broken record here, but folks, you have to be smart. We've seen the vilification of law enforcement here about 5-6 years ago starting and, still kind of continuing. And what rode on the coattails of that is, well, we need to be more caring, more concerned about the offenders and doing things for the offenders. We need to lessen the penalties and make it hard for them to go back to prison and all these different things.
So the pendulum swung too hard the other way.
It swings way too far. And I'm not trying to ever, justify a bad cop's actions, not at all. But when you have people who are committed to a criminal lifestyle, there's no excuse by any other group or anything else going on to excuse that lifestyle. I've shared before and I'll restate again. We're willing to help and work with people and help them change, whether that's detox and or mental health help or whatever it is. But if they're not willing to put their own skin in the game and try to help themselves, there's nothing we can do for them. I can't live their life for them, nor can you or the sheriff. They have to be committed to that. If they're not, then really as a society, we have to take steps to protect ourselves from them, which means incarceration.
And our jails already, we're looking at expanding, Sheriff.
We're looking at expanding. We had that guy come in here probably a few months back, and architect, and they're going to design the jail. We still haven't moved. We're hoping to break ground April, May next year. And, right now, I was there yesterday. We have the whole front of the jail where we have the booking area. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Ty and I are. There's a bunch of cells there, and everybody there yesterday and in the last couple of days, they're all higher than a kite. They're all mental issues.
And that's supposed to be temporary holding.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, you're supposed to come in. If you're intoxicated, they put you there. You sober up the moving population. We've had people there that have been there 2 weeks, and we can't move them because of their state of mind. We can't put them in there with population. So it's a burden of the taxpayers, but we need a facility that's going to deal with it. We got a meeting coming up with mental health, Lakes Crossing next week or two. I can't remember when, and talk about some opening up some beds. I'm hoping that the hospital opens up some bed. They were talking about breaking ground next year. And
they're started already.
They've done the
third floor.
They're looking at, I believe, 15, 20 beds. So that'll help us a lot, because right now we transport to, and right now Lieutenant Perry's headed to Las Vegas to take one there.
Well, and in all fairness, we don't know if the hospital's behavioral health unit's going to be set up for inmates. I mean, that's the other thing. These are inmates, and they need a different kind of...
I would see the hospitals probably more as a diversionary.
Exactly.
Before
you get to that point. But it should help the population in general, absolutely.
Whether we can take somebody there that's having mental issues or something, prior to them getting arrested for...
Right, if they get arrested on something minor.
Might be able to get them up to the hospital, get them some help. So we're really working with the mental health program, trying to get better at it, and you've
got 24-hour nursing. That's the other thing.
Well, they're down to almost 24 hours, like 16, 17 hours. They're there all day. We have a full-time nurse there, and then she has another 2-3 staff girls. They pass out all the meds. They do all the intakes. They do everything.
So, like we talked about before, a great number of people in jail are on medication.
Oh, there's you should come down there one morning and look at that. They start at 7 o'clock and they go. These guys take meds 3 times a day, so they take the meds and morning, lunch, and dinner before they go to bed, and a lot of medication gets dispensed, and
a lot of it for the mental illness.
Mental illnesses, and like guy the other day came in, was arrested DUI, and now he's complaining of heart issues. So, that's medical staff still. And they took him up to the hospital, and we don't get the healthiest people arrested.
Sure.
So we have all sorts of issues.
We're talking with our Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza and our City Police Chief Tyler Trouten today with our regular monthly update. And monthly, there's some of the issues and topics are ongoing, Chief, but we also have an opportunity to talk about anything that's kind of new and different, or what you want the community to know.
Well, so this is probably a good segue right now because we're almost there. We're just days away from National Night Out. One of the unique things people have come out in years past, and we call it the Tactical Cow. It's a black and white MRAP we've had for years. It's huge. 44,000 pounds of military surplus equipment that we have utilized for our tactical team, which is a combined team we run with the Sheriff's Office and other Carlin PD, West Wendover PD. We've ran for years. The current president had issued an executive order which basically diminished our opportunity to utilize that. Pretty much made it a big paperweight. So we had applied for a grant. One of our detectives who was in a light duty status, she wrote a grant, did a wonderful job, got us that grant to the tune of about $350,000. There's no match to it. We went through several bidding processes trying to find the best vehicle and so forth. We now have that vehicle. And bringing it all the way around, it will be debuting at National Night Out. So we would encourage the public to come down. Again, that's August 6th. Will be from 5 p.m. in the afternoon till 8 p.m. that night. But if folks are not aware, maybe there's a few out there still aren't, free hot dogs or hamburgers, sodas, waters, all those things. We'll have entertainment, all of your local first responder entities. Even some that are just, kind of connected into law enforcement, different things, resource providers. We'll be out there. We'll have booths come down, see. There's things to do for the kids, for, the whole family. It's really just an opportunity to come down and get to know your people who are serving you. Ask questions, check things out. So
41st, 41 years of this National Night Out. That's impressive. And so your agency will be there, Sheriff?
Yeah, Ty and I will be there along with, Highway Patrol and, our local
EMS and fire. Everybody turns out.
Fire.
You guys are flipping burgers and serving up hot dogs, yeah?
We'll all be there.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It really is. It makes for long days, but, it's our time to give back to the community for their support. So it's a good time.
So it is obviously a partnership and promotes neighborhood safety and awareness and cooperation. It's just, it's really a feel-good event. It's kind of a nice way to kick off back to school, too, because there's lots of people.
Heather does a good job with it at JDC.
Yes.
She always shows up at the meetings, and she's Johnny on the spot as well.
She is. We need a separate show for her because,
Yeah, she's a good person.
They're keeping people
busy, and it's, a lot goes into it. A lot of the businesses donate all the pop and the water and the hamburgers, and we just cook it,
Well, there you go. It's a great community effort. So National Night Out, the 41st event on August 6th right here in Elko in the main city park. Don't miss that. It's really fun. Yeah. It's super fun.
And on a positive note, I was going to say we'll actually have an awning over top the grills again this year.
Oh, good.
The one in the park got destroyed by that little kind of twister here a few years ago, and I guess we've got one back up. So
brand new shade
maybe
structure.
a little bit cooler.
Yeah, definitely.
You cook a couple thousand cheeseburgers, it gets hot back there.
So come out and meet your local law enforcement. And, it's always great if you let them know you heard about it here on the radio. We appreciate being able to do this. And probably the next thing I guess we can just kind of send you to with just reminding people that we are in a national political season and environment. Our agencies work really closely together to keep our community safe. So if we have any visits, you guys are going to be working, because that was kind of high profile there not so long ago.
Yeah, we can,
It's less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, and, this is probably a good opportunity too. It's a unique opportunity I never thought I'd have here. But we have worked details for presidents all the way back to Jimmy Carter when he was here stumping for other candidates, which is kind of a cool thing. And I know people get wound up and twisted up on politics and stuff, but understand that, it's kind of like a celebrity. You see these people and you see one facet of who they are. That does not mean you know them or know who they are. They're humans. They're people. They've got good qualities, bad qualities. They're like every other human. I say all that to say this. We have an organized form of government that works better than any in the world. And if some little idiot out there thinks that you get to subvert that and take matters into your own hand and try to use violence, you are not just destroying a political candidate or a life. You are destroying our entire political structure. That is not how we do things. You want to be involved? Do the hard thing. Go out and get involved. Go out, stump for your candidates. Work, get people signed up to vote. Do those things. Don't be doing this, laying on a rooftop thinking you're going to be some sniper. You've worked against the entirety of this country in doing that thing. And it's problematic. The sheriff can tell you too, when you work these details, that's your biggest fear is something like that happen. It stretches all of us to the very limits of our abilities to just try to ensure the safety for all these things going on. And how many hours do you think goes into prep?
Gosh, and it's just not law enforcement. It's the school district as well. That one year, they took every bus they had in the county.
Well,
Bush
EMS, it involves a lot. It's not just a couple hours of, hey, we'll go, protect somebody.
And as you said, it's this entire infrastructure of the country.
You're talking EMS. You're talking everything, the law enforcement, different agencies from all over the country that come in for it. It's a big event. It's not like Ty said, they just show up. We meet with them weeks before and we start having meetings and this is what they want. It's it's our job to give them what.
And here's the flip side of that. If national agencies say, we're not recommending that you go to rural communities because we don't feel like they're safe, that is a heartbreak as well, because we deserve to have those visits.
You're absolutely correct.
They're infringing on our.
Well, not to mention the fact that I don't know if it's still this way. I don't keep track of all the political stats. For many, many years, we were a swing county in a swing state. We were a decisive factor in the vote for the state of Nevada and for the nation. We, as you just said, we deserve to have these folks here too and be able to see them and do these things. And again, it's kind of like when you're raising your kids, use your words. Don't just hit and scream and throw a temper tantrum like some of these folks, I guess, want to do. We all have differences of opinion. I've been around for over 50 years, haven't met anybody that sees eye to eye with me on everything. That's life.
And Sheriff, just in all fairness too, we are a Constitution county, right? So what does that mean when it comes to these profile visits, these high profile?
People are entitled to carry their firearms, but you got to, if you're going to a presidential rally, they have the right to tell you no as well. We'll support as much as we can, and that rally is protected by Secret Service, not just Ty and I. The Secret Service says, no, you can't come in. Well, you're probably going to have to put your gun down. But you will support with everything that we can.
Well, and understand, again, I'm sure that's going to rankle folks, but we recognize that you don't get to go grab a gun and go walking onto a school campus. We are more concerned about the protection of certain people, i.e. the students, the children, than about your right to carry a gun across campus. That there's no shooting ranges on campus, so why? It's the same thing at these, political rallies. It's not a shooting range. There's no need to have a gun there, especially at ththese types of things. There's a lot of folks there, law enforcement-wise, to protect you. Just be respectful of things. I'm a classical liberalist when it comes to freedoms. I think you should be able to do everything you want to do so long as it doesn't interfere with the rights of others. This is one of those situations where your freedoms can quickly interfere with the rights of others. So, people have to be smart on it.
He's absolutely correct. You hit them right on the head.
It's a right, but it comes with a weighty responsibility. Exactly.
It's a lot of responsibility. We do CCWs. I fill them out every day, sign them every day, and CCW means concealed carry. It means concealed carry. You can go into a store, you can go into a facility you don't have to tell anybody you have a firearm.
And you shouldn't. Right.
That's why it's called concealed carry, right?
And you do also revoke those permits.
Yeah, I just revoke them, and once you get your CCW, what kills me is these guys work so hard to get them. There's a lot of steps to go through it, and then you get arrested for DUI. If you get arrested for anything, I pull it. This is the same day. Once you're booked, it comes up CCW, I get the paper. If I have the right to look at them and give it back to them, it depends on the charge. Let's say it's a warrant, they got arrested. Yeah, you get your CCW back, but domestic violence, battery, DUIs, it's gone. You don't get it back for 5 years.
Right. Those are all important considerations, gentlemen. Thank you. We don't have any candidate visits, high profile, as in U.S. senators or any presidential candidates or VP picks or anything like that scheduled. And right, as far as you're not
have heard nothing yet. I would anticipate Nevada is going to see these candidates come out. What that means for Elko, we don't know. Like I said, we've had a lot of visits here by both candidates, sitting presidents, and former presidents. So there's that possibility. And I'll be honest with you, and I understand the public loves to see these people. For us, it is so much work. I'm okay if we don't see them.
It's a lot of stress. Yeah.
It's hard work. It's a lot long hours hanging out with different agencies and trying to get everybody in place, vehicles, buses, whatever.
Well, and again, just the entire aspect. Now that it's definitely at a different level because we've had the attempt. So
just trying to get the Air Force One in town is a mess. It's just there's a lot of statistics that go with that.
Well, you'll keep us posted, right? If anything's on the radar, we want to make sure that safety first, no matter what. Safety of our citizens, safety of our visitors. It's all about being safe.
Well, and this sounds odd, but even coming down to when you have these visits, making sure the people who aren't attending can go about their business and get across town and stuff. It's never easy. Like I said, Elko's not set up where we have belt routes upon belt routes and all these different things. It's difficult here, so it's always a unique and interesting experience to hear them. I would encourage people of whatever political belief system they have, go out and listen to all these candidates. Yes, you can. We're fortunate to live in a time where you can sit down at a computer and you can do research and look for credible sources of information and find out a lot about people, past voting records, things like that. But it's unique to go and hear them in person too. It's like going to a live baseball game versus watching on TV. But especially our younger generation, we need them to get involved and understand what their civic responsibilities are. And don't just vote by something you heard on Facebook. Yeah. We used to laugh. You go in the grocery stores, and there was the yellow journalistic tabloids, of Bigfoot sighting with Elvis, partying at I'm sorry, but Facebook's on the same level. It is a bunch of BS. And folks it just kills me when they try to cite it as something of a credible source.
Right. And we opened the program by talking about a missing man from our community and how in some ways that investigation's been stymied because of social media.
Yeah, well, when you get facts that aren't not facts, when you get information that aren't facts, we have to trace down those leads. And so you're pulling staff and detectives and everybody else to chase down those leads, which comes out to be nothing. So
it takes resources away from other things.
Away from the actual resource, from the actual calls. So, but we'd rather get tips and try to track them down than not get any tips at all. So, kind of ways it's kind of catch-22.
It is, yeah. Well, and thanks to you and your staff and everybody that's putting in all this time, again, to keep our community. We haven't lost the battle yet.
No.
Far from it.
Okay.
We're far from losing that battle.
All right. That's what we want to close on, gentlemen. We always appreciate your time and do come back as you do each month. And anytime you need more time, just call me.
Good.
Yeah, you guys are good. You're really good. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Lori, and we appreciate the opportunity. And hey, please get the word out. Everybody listening, Lori, please feel free to repeat. National Night Out, come see us. We really want to see the crowds there. Given what our weather's been, it should be good. So yeah, come out.
We're, if the people headed out to these events, we're just getting into the busy season. We got the car show in Wells, and got Midas next week, and then we got Jarbidge, and then we got that biker thing and Jackpot, and we got all sorts of events. So just use common sense, be safe, have fun, and don't get in trouble.
Yeah, and if you ever need the sheriff to escort a couple of rodeo queens to the airport. That was on Facebook.
Yeah,
yes.
we had the horses down there on that day. We were on horseback.
Silver State Stampede.
Kathy Laughlin Fagawaga came up to me. They got into a bind. The princesses came in. The queens came in late that night, and they got in a pretty tight bind with staff and trying to get them to the airport. And she asked me, and we need help getting them. So I just tied up my horse, went down to the airport, and picked them up, and they were nice people. They're great people.
That was great.
We have to do what we have to do to get people up here.
That's it. And you have the best wife on the planet. You already know that.
Thanks.
So yes, absolutely. She knows. So thanks, you guys. Appreciate your being on the radio show, Elko Live, local law enforcement featuring Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza and our city police chief, Tyler Trouten, here on KELK.